Tag show. Tag show. That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed. First, a hurt business breakup, and every day I wake up, somebody got a problem with. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Mixed Tag Show with.
I don't even want to do this anymore.
What?
Jenna
and Blue. See, I ended up my verse.
It's your episode, or I'm just rolling with the punches right now.
See, I finished it off though, right? That was dope. That was a good little intro. What's going on, everybody? How was your? What's going on, everybody? Back with another episode of the Mixed Tag Show. It's been a while. Of course, we're back. We don't, like I said, we didn't want to be too repetitive with what we say. Come back with some information for you to share and opinions to be shared.
It's a late night edition. We're recording late, even though by the time you hear it, it'll be the morning. But we're recording this pretty late because
it's a holiday weekend.
Motherfuckers have a life. Holiday weekend. We both had something.
And that part too.
So living life, yo. I gotta sit a certain way, as I was mentioning to you, because I gotta look all fine and whatnot for WrestleMania. So I was just getting,
So you going?
Remember I've been preaching about manifesting and this, that, and the third. I said I was going to WrestleMania. I didn't know how I was going to WrestleMania, but everything aligned for me, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to WrestleMania. I have to. There's no.
Jenna's going to WrestleMania. Y'all point to the side.
Point. Let me point that Biggie over here. Okay. Yeah, man. Like I was like, you know what? It's funny because I don't want to go in. I've been so wrapped up with the whole manifesting and affirming thing, but I said I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Whatever. Because it's like late in the game and to buy flights and stuff. I was like, you know what? I have travel credits from last year.
Facts.
That was supposed to expire early, but they wound up, I don't know. It's how the universe is work. Everything works for you. And then I was like, you know what? Wait, now my flight is dumb cheap. I was like, okay. And I was like, wait, I'm not staying a full weekend because I'm only going for Saturday. And I was like, my friend is going. Let me hit up my friend. He said, no problem. To stay that for over Saturday night because my flight is Sunday morning. And I was like, and then funny thing is, my other friend kept telling me, get this ticket, because this was cheap. It's in whatever the section it was. And we wouldn't be too far off from each other. But I said I was going to wait.
Right.
Because, I don't know, I just felt like something else would be better. Sure enough, tickets sold out. Most of the tickets sold out. So I was like, shit. I was like, I'm not going to panic. And I started looking around the third-party sites like StubHub, et cetera. Lo and behold, normally, when you try to sell tickets and shit or anything, we always have this conversation about reselling. It's like over whatever it is. This one, I kid you not, was like retail. I was like, and it was in right in the middle, and what's the word I'm looking for? Not as high up. You get what I'm saying? Like it was the row was even lower than the other seats. The only thing that made it a little bit more expensive was the fees, but other than that, it was just like, yo, everything was aligned for me to go. So, I'm going to see, obviously, the main reason why I'm going to see is our girl Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Main event.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that because I'm still kind of sketchy on that one. But how was your week otherwise, other than, making your way to WrestleMania?
My week is, I keep telling you, everything Zen Gen vibes. Everything has been good. I'm blessed. have a lot of love in my life right now, in a lot of different areas, and I'm just, went back to work like I guess full time for the 2 weeks and then the rotation, but that's been cool. Yeah, so that's really I'm loving life right now. I'm very excited for what's to come.
That's dope.
And
I'm
you,
happy for
sir?
you. My
Thank
week is
you.
interesting. I've been trying to stay busy. I've been really finding my creative juices flowing, I guess, and just finding ways to like put myself like in more creative roles. So like I started streaming on Twitch, like video game wise and stuff like that. So follow me on Twitch, Blue Magic Grind. And then I also I was the first guy to be on those
I don't
wrestling
even.
girls.
I
I
can't.
manifested that
I
one.
can't even be happy for you because you're mad shady.
Oh my
You're
gosh, we're
wild
not doing
shady.
this. I told you it
No,
was
you're
mad
wild
last
shady.
minute.
No, because when I did the wrestling panel with them, I was like, yo, it was last minute. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna do this, that, and third with them. All
But
right,
the
cool.
difference is we got on
I
the
then I
call that
let you
day.
know because you are my partner. I let you
But
know
we were
because you're
on the
my
call that
my.
day. Literally, I got off work, went to the bank, and went on a show. Like I had no time to prepare whatsoever.
Those of you that always watch and listen to this show, we always appreciate it. Now, you're probably listening to this banter because, this is what we do. Now, if someone, I'm tired of people doing shit and then saying it afterwards, you could have, I think you know what I'm getting at. But anyway, I'm tired of people saying things afterwards. Something happened. You could have told me up front. It's a couple of text messages. Yo, I'm doing this. Hell,
Yo,
I even give you even if it was last minute and you did it. Yo, I just finished. You did none of that. I had to go on social media.
my bad. No, it was a hectic day from coming
Right,
from
man.
work and picking up kids and then going to the. It's a lot. Like my days are. And I'm sorry. I say it to you on the show. I'm sorry for not letting you know I went on those wrestling girls and being the first guy on the show. Shout out to
Thank you for
Brian
being
Waters,
a
man.
man and standing up and owning up to your mistakes. Thank you.
Shout out to Brian Waters. He was also on the show with me. I mean, I always make jokes about him being like me being the first because my name starts first. His is BR, mine is BL, so I'm first. Shout out to those wrestling girls for
Oh
having me on their.
God, you always trying to be seen. Shout out to them.
Yeah. Also, I think this upcoming week I'm gonna be doing Duke wrestling. I have to confirm that, and then I'll let you
Nice.
know. I'll let you know when I do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
When I confirm it, I'm gonna let
Thank
you know.
you.
But I'm supposed to be doing Duke wrestling soon. Shout out to Duke wrestling. He's like another dope black. He's very opinionated, so it's gonna be a very interesting episode. But yeah, that's been my week so far, and just doing dad stuff and working the 9 to 5 and so on and so forth, and crying.
That's what's up.
Not really boohoo crying, but like being sad. Because I don't know if you want to get
Why?
into the show now.
Before we get in the show, because we did mention this, I have to plug in, of course. As everyone knows, I have two dogs, Magic and Lucky, that I love
Not
dearly.
me. Not me.
What?
Not me. I'm not Magic.
Anyway, okay. All right, whatever. I got it, but like you ruined the flow. Anyway, needless to say, I have to get dental surgery for my two dogs. I can get the money. However, it is a burden to do so. So those of you that are listening, watching, it'd be greatly appreciated to do to go ahead to our, I guess, I don't know where we're gonna put this. I don't know.
I'll put
I
a
don't
link
like
in.
asking for things.
I'll put
Okay,
the
you
links
put a
up.
link in.
I'll put the links up for
Appreciate
you.
it.
Just look in the
I don't like
description
putting
and you'll
link.
see the link for the GoFundMe.
Yeah, so go
to
for
help.
me to help to get them their teeth clean and their extractions, because homie's mouth, when you're old, it gets a little crazy. So needless to say, I have to get that done for them, so they can continue to have a prosperous life. So please, any appreciations would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Nicely put.
Thank you.
So now back to
Go
my hurt
ahead. Why are we
feelings.
trying?
Because like I
Hurt.
said I said in the beginning of the episode, the Hurt Business broke up. Like for
Yeah.
why? First of all, I still haven't
For
gotten over it.
why?
I still didn't get over the fact that Undisputed Era is going through their issues right now. All right, I'm still in denial. So besides
Exactly.
that, the Hurt Business, I just bought the shirt like 2 weeks ago. I got like 2 wears out of it, and you're breaking the
That's
group
okay.
up.
You can. That's okay. You can still wear. Speaking of wears, it also too head on over to our Instagram page. I'm giving away mad wrestling shirts because
There's
over
a
the
lot of stuff
years
left over.
there's a lot of stuff. I've already sent out quite a few and
Did you
given
see
them
my
to you
pop?
away. It's sent aside. Relax.
You're supposed to send it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff that's been bought and given to us. Shout out to the WWE shop that it's I feel like it'll have better use in other people's homes. So with that said, I do apologize, sir. You didn't get that much wears out of your shirts.
Yeah, like it was like 2 wears, and I'm like, anyway. So according to some news from around the world, what around the business is that Bobby Lashley, MVP, a few people backstage was trying to change Vince's mind, but he was so adamant that this group had to break up. Like I still don't understand this.
I don't understand it either. It's unfortunate because again, we always keep for the past, I don't know how many episodes we've been discussing how MVP has resurrected 4 careers, including his own, right? So that's four careers, right? So it's just like it worked. It made Bobby Lashley legitimate, which it took all this time to get him to this point,
Right.
and to see Shelton Benjamin, someone who's been around that specific company for so many years, to finally get some TV time, and I've always had this conversation with Cedric Alexander. I've always found his character to be boring, but he's a phenomenal wrestler. So now that I always say you put this great wrestlers, and once you find that role for them, it's a win-win situation. So it was just the Hurt Business was very, and we always talk about Raw being just not that show anymore. So
Right.
the Hurt Business was definitely a bright spot, and it's unfortunate that Vince is like Vince is like a seesaw, right? It's like 1 minute he's like high on something and let it rock for way longer than it needs to, and then something when it's clearly over, he's like, well, I'm not gonna deal. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that happened with Rusev Day. Remember how Rusev Day was completely over, but he kept killing that momentum.
Yeah.
But then I look at like something like Charlotte, for example, when clearly she needs a break or kind of a character adjustment. It's like you continue to ride it out, and it's like you got to give stuff a break, and it goes classic Vince. It's you would think maybe he has better things in store for Bobby and MVP specifically. I don't know, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
So like you said, MVP came through and revived for careers, including his own. We seen Bobby was doing the silly stuff after Leo Rush was gone. There was no direction for him. Shelton Benjamin was just floating around. They found something for him. Cedric Alexander was coming from some heat that he was finally getting out of and fell into the Hurt Business. And people was actually speculating adding Naomi into the group and maybe, helping revive her character as well and make her win the women's championship and, make it all gold like they do Undisputed Era. It makes sense. Their colors are black and gold. You know what I mean? Like it would have worked perfectly fine. And they just did a complete 180 or 360, I guess. It went, 180 is facing the other way. They did a complete 180 and change the entire direction of this group. So now what is going to happen with Shelton Benjamin? What is going to happen with Alexander? And like, to me, like, I know we're going to do our recap for WrestleMania, but them doing this just shows me that it's not looking good for Bobby going into WrestleMania.
I agree. Unless at the 12th hour, Vince to change his mind in regards to them, and one of the things
the 4 Horsemen type joint.
Yeah, exactly. And again, with this past episode of Raw, we saw in the main event or whatever, Bobby and Drew go at it, and Baron Corbin, who was on SmackDown, come and help Bobby for what? Like that made no sense.
And I didn't even finish watching Raw because after that happened, I was kind of like just discouraged from the rest of the Raw. So I was just like, all right, I didn't even care to finish watching it. And then I seen a situation with Baron Corbin, and it was like I thought he was on SmackDown, and so people started speculating that he's part of the Hurt Business, and MVP had to jump on Twitter like, nah, he's not part of the Hurt Business, and the Hurt Business is not breaking up. We just have to downsize. Like a lot of damage control, and including a tweet like Shelton Benjamin, tweeted his frustrations. I don't know if you've seen it. He basically said the events of this past week have been beyond infuriating, frustrating, and disappointing, but sadly comes as no surprise. So it doesn't sound like he's very happy. I don't know if that was in character, but he usually just tweets like how he really feels.
I mean, but that could be true, but you can take it as one way. He put it as like
it could be working into the
it
story.
Could be in character or not, and it might be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But just from the reports from this past week, it just seems like that's like, it's one of the things where like, yo.
No, for sure.
Like the ball was rolling.
Like that's legit. Yeah.
And then you just flattened it. Like for what? For Drew McIntyre to have his moment at WrestleMania in front of a crowd. I hope you guys boo him. I'm sorry.
All I know, but we'll discuss this when we get at the end of the show for the other. You know what? I'm glad you put that for our main event, right? Because
and that's the point. That's the reason I'm making that way.
Makes sense. We're starting because this is what goes back to manifesting and affirming. We're putting this in the beginning of the card, our show, and the last thing we're going to discuss is the main event of Saturday, night 1.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
No, it is.
We'll get there. Okay. I'll tell you why.
It is.
Manifesting.
Thank you. You have to affirm that. Anywho, what else?
We also have we're gonna jump over to a little bit of AEW, I believe, right? Yeah. So the situation with AEW where everybody's complaining about they're having too many factions. First of all, did you see the new AEW title? Oh, not AEW, New Japan title. I'm sorry, that's what you hate it. Did you see the history of it though?
Yeah, but I hate it.
We went
for. I hate it. I think it low key reminded me of the Divas Butterfly title.
Yeah, I know, but it's not. It's from their own like. All right. Anyway, we won't stop it. But
I understand. I just hate it.
So now can we say AEW has the best looking title in the business? The heavyweight title. At least.
Yeah.
This got to change that woman's title. This got to change the woman's title, please.
You know how I feel about that. Like it looks bitch made. But go ahead.
Right. But so everybody been complaining about there's too many factions. But speaking of factions, Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle had a little brawl backstage this past Wednesday, and it was very interesting. Like I'm very interested to see how the storyline like advances.
Yeah, your man, what is it, Dax Hardwood, right?
Yeah, Dax.
Man, his whole shit got shattered, like fucked up. So, yeah. I mean, listen, I think we've discussed this a while ago in regards to AEW. It's just I not so much about factions. I'm like, there's always tag team matches. And then before this was even announced, I think it was last week or the week before, I was watching. I was like, wait. I'm like, now you have the Pinnacle.
Yeah.
You have the Elite, technically. You have the Nightmare Family. You have
the Nightmare Family broke up. So I know you didn't watch AEW.
Well, I saw
QT Marshall.
What's his name? QT Marshall hit Arn Anderson. So I peeped that. Like I didn't see the whole show, but I peeped. I think that what I needed to see.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. They didn't break up.
They
someone
split.
left.
No. He took students with him because the Nightmare Factory is supposed to be like the people that's basically like the training, like the performance center people.
They split, but so now you split into another faction. So it technically it's not like so. And then what do you have? What's Taz's joint called again?
Oh, Team Taz.
Team Taz. And there's another. There's the Dark World Order. It's just everyone's.
Dark Order
is baffling. Sorry. It's baffling to me that everyone's in a faction and I'm trying to figure out why is that the case. Like,
I
I don't
feel like
know.
they're gonna they were supposed to do this last year where they're supposed to have this faction wars type situation. I feel like
Hmm.
because of the pandemic, they wasn't able to, successfully go through with it. And there's also Matt Hardy family and
The
all
Matt
that.
Hardy
Yeah.
family, yeah, yeah.
So like I feel like they're just trying to set up for their faction wars pay-per-view that they're trying to put together. That's why I look at it. They also taking a piece of like New Japan's history of just having factions for their and to me, I don't mind it because it helps certain people that don't get usual TV time. Because instead of having a tag team out there, now you have a quad group out there. You know what I mean? And that works into storylines to get more looks for everybody in the business. And hopefully they just start doing
I
some more
could,
with the women.
yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it. But I would like to see, not to say that there hasn't been single stars that have been pushed and whatnot, but I like a little bit of more focus of establishing a mid card and upper card, and just
Right. The
all
traditional.
overall traditional. But whatever they make it work for them. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like it's a lot,
Yeah.
But I
And I mean
don't have major complaints.
yeah, but they're working it pretty well. Like they're not like there's some backstory to it,
Yeah.
like the whole feud between Pinnacle and Inner Circle. There's some good work in there.
And so this is dope. I when I saw the Pinnacle come together, I was like, you know what, this ain't bad.
Right.
This, I was in that brawl last week, and then before that with attacking Chris and all of them,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jericho and everybody. I was like, this. I I don't like MJF. Like, I don't like his character. I mean, I guess he's doing a good job with whatever in that sense. Um, but I was like, I fucks with this. I think this is a you know it's working out, and I'm interested in this feud moving
Look at you
forward,
look
and I like what the
look at you
told
giving
you couple
some good talks for the AEW.
sorry, been a couple of weeks. There's been things that I was like, you know what, this isn't. I've been more intrigued with AEW. Like I told you, I don't mind giving someone their flowers if they
Right.
deserve it, and I'm interested. I like the pairing of Kenny and the Good Brothers
Yeah.
and
Think about the Good
Young
Brothers
Bucks.
where they were at in WWE and compared to when they leave WWE, like they about to have a whole live show down in Tampa with a nice following. You know what I mean? Like
That's kind of how it works. I mean, it just depends on who it is. It works in AEW, might work in Impact, it might work in New Japan, or WWE. At this point, we can't really say
right.
what who's gonna work in what company. So, but it's worked out. It's worked the pairing of Impact and AEW for the Good Brothers. Pretty good for
Speaking
them.
of speaking of the Inner Circle and Jericho a few moments ago, how did you feel about this whole Austin and Jericho situation?
I was like, yo,
I thought it was April's Fool, so they dropped it on. It
that's
was
what I was
on.
like. This second, it was on the second. So I was like, wait, nah, it's not April 1st.
Oh,
And it wasn't even on some like. So then even if let's say it was an April Fool's joke, at that point it wasn't because the motherfuckers were in the same like picture or
studio.
video. So it
So,
was the studio. So it's like, oh no, this is real.
but
So
the next thing I thought was like, did he record this before he left? And then they're like, nah. And I see that like
nah,
when you
the
posted the
tagged
conversation that
him.
Austin had, and I'm like, what? Like, what is
So
happening
yeah,
here?
and just to give a quick excerpt that we posted, this is what Stone Cold said in regards to getting Jericho on his podcast. I text Vince and said we had this badass idea about Jericho coming on the show. Mind you, Jericho had hit him up because he saw the Taker one and thought it was a pretty dope or badass
Yeah.
interview. Then so Austin says Vince goes, it's cool, go ahead. But me and Vince don't always do well with phones and texts and all that. So I text one more time. Are you sure it's okay to have Chris Jericho on the show? Vince gave me the thumbs up, and Chris came out to do the show. That I think that's I'm over here stuttering. It's growth, it's maturity. Um, you know, this could lead to so many different things. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
And
so
Tony
many
Khan also gave his
collabos.
okay, but we knew that Tony Khan wouldn't be against this. Like he wouldn't try to stop something like this.
What we're talking about Vince McMahon though. You're
Yeah.
saying he wouldn't. Yes, I
No. I
understand he
said
has
Tony
a.
Khan. I said shout out to Tony Khan. He also
Oh,
approved.
I was like, Vince is
Yeah, no.
one of
Tony
the most
Khan.
pettiest motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
yeah,
Tony Khan.
yeah, but I was like, well, maybe because Vince had a good or has a good relationship with Chris, maybe that's what
Yeah.
the okay was. But that's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just brings different eyes to both products.
Yeah.
And who knows what this could lead to? Maybe that in the near
A forbidden
future, we
door.
seeing that forbidden door has now just been open. Like we don't know if we can see Kenny Omega finally versus I don't know Seth Rollins
Right.
or the Elite versus New Day. Like what things that have been discussed in the past.
Right.
All of Bullet Club coming back together every
Yeah.
remember,
Still
I'm
possibilities,
being a
like,
mark right now, but
yeah,
yeah, but the
right.
possibilities are endless, right?
Then this is what we all been asking for, and this is what I think Triple H try to hint at. Like he's like they're open to. You can tell like Triple H is all for it. Like yo, just like when the whole situation with WCW and WWE was happening back in the day, and they pulled up to WCW, like he was hoping that they left the door open. He's like, I didn't know what's gonna happen after that, but I was just hoping they left it to let it go away because I thought that'd be major for the business. Like Trips is really for the business, and I feel like this is what he was talking about. Like yes, this is probably like just like a crack in the door in terms of the WWE universe. But like, if you was just like let them push, because they the same thing happened like you said with Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods when they had the video game Elite versus New Day. Like you saw how much that generated. Like I don't understand why. Like if you see that, you're like, all right, maybe I could just make some like everybody can make money off of this at the end of the day.
One and two, you got to think about it. Doesn't hurt. You know why it doesn't hurt? Because we got to look at it like we have this conversation all the time. Wrestling isn't what it used to be in the 80s and 90s. In the 90s, yes, there was a heavy competition where ratings was everything. Now you have shows that are barely like with Raw, NXT, and Dynamite. They are barely, they're not, barely at a million.
Right.
So this doesn't affect anyone. Like all this competition shit is bullshit.
SmackDown
Like
2 million yet, or it's still in the ones?
it's no, SmackDown has been consistently at 2 million. But even still, that's a far cry from years ago when people used to watch wrestling and you can 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 million.
Right.
I'm talking about like in the 90s, like 1990,
right.
whatever.
Monday Night Wars.
Yeah, you remember like motherfuckers, it was like 6 million, 7 million, 8 million people like legit watching. And then even back in 2016, I think Raw was getting 4 million views to now barely 1 and sometimes not 1. That's crazy. So at this point, there's no competition. At this particular point, it's just like anyone that tells you otherwise are just like fanboys, ridiculous fanboys, still in their basement or whatever, like whatever, living on the internet. But if you're an actual wrestling fan, you would love the opportunities that this presents. So who knows? Let's see if Jericho and Stone Cold just became pioneers in the whole collabo thing, because that'd be great for the business.
I wouldn't say pioneers because they're doing pretty good with AEW, New Japan, and I'll say a cornerstone.
A cornerstone. I guess when it comes to WWE, but I hear you because every other promotion is doing their thing in collaborating,
except for that. Nobody's just looking over the fence like, what y'all doing over there? Right. Why?
Exactly. So we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, you did a lot of fantasy booking that I definitely want to see. It's definitely like Seth Rollins versus Omega.
Hire me.
Yo, Young Bucks versus the Usos and a New Day.
Hello, WWE.
An FTR in the 4-way match. What?
Hello, WWE. I've been kind of like I've been an ambassador for the shop and an influencer and an employee of sorts. Hire me. I just gave you some great matches, some dream matches. Hire me. I can write some things for the women's division. Hello.
Yeah, they need the help in the women's division. Speaking of the women's division,
exactly. Wow, this is a short episode. We can end it off with this.
Yeah, that's fine. It's cool. Sometimes we
Okay,
ain't
cool.
gotta. It's a nice little
Okay,
listen. It's
yeah,
organic. You know what I mean? It's not like we forcing anything. But
yeah.
yeah, like you said, Sasha mentioned that there will be main event in night one of
This is
WrestleMania.
what I didn't. Right. So this is I didn't. Again, I didn't necessarily hear this from her mouth, and I didn't see this report all over the place. But it was mentioned that she was on like a German
WWE
interview or
Germany.
something like that. Was it WWE Germany
Yeah.
or was it okay? She said that they will be the main event. Now they're not treating it like the main event, but
Right. And this is
because
why I'm like this.
yeah, go ahead, do it again.
So everybody was tweeting like, yeah, this is gonna be the main event. And I'm saying like, I'm looking at WWE account. I'm looking at the WWE account like, y'all gonna retweet this or y'all just gonna act like this is not
well, I
existent?
will. Well, I will say though, they did post that mural
Yeah.
that was in the UK, and that was what was the word I'm looking for, given more of the spotlight than Drew and Bobby. And then you saw if anybody didn't see the mural, it was Sasha and Bianca, and then right behind that picture was of Austin and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
So that's big for Again, it's not. I'm not saying WWE did that, but it was like some fan art, essentially a
You mean
mural
Austin
done.
and The Rock?
Yeah, that's
You
what did
said
I
Austin and
say?
Stone Cold.
Damn, and The Rock is supposed to be my favorite of all time.
Nah, yo.
Um,
Sidebar. Can we do a quick sidebar? This is a short episode.
okay.
I talked about this with I think Jeff J says, and it's like the way that Stone Cold has broken to like
We
pop
were
culture.
talking about this.
Okay, we did too, right? Did we?
Yeah,
Like it's crazy, right?
I've been outside of that, but I've been saying to you and other
Yeah, I remember you.
people
Yeah,
again. It's I love The Rock, and I'm not knocking Dwayne Johnson, but I think I don't know what episode of what's the show called on USA that comes after Raw with Stone Cold.
I'll get the title for you. Go ahead. Tell what you're saying.
I don't know
Straight shoot.
what's
Shooting
the
straight.
strange.
Wait.
Yeah, something like that with Steve Austin, some shit like that. And I was watching him. I don't know if it was who it was with. It was with the guest, but I'm like, you know what? Austin is just so. I didn't expect to sit there
Straight
and
up Steve
watch that show.
Austin.
Straight up Steve Austin. I didn't expect to sit there and watch that. It's kind of like when you watch the people who watch the Chrisleys. I started watching the Chrisleys just because I was too lazy to change the channel
Yeah.
from Raw. Wound up liking it. This is kind of the same situation. Like I'm like Austin is fucking cool. Like, could you imagine like the guests that he's had, like Ice-T, like, and it's like a wide variety. Like imagine just rolling around and then Austin in a low rider with
Right.
Ice-T and in the hood in LA. Like that's fucking badass. And he just seems like a round the way guy that I want to drink some IPAs, even though I'm not a fan of IPAs.
Right.
I
I'll
hear
suck
this
it
one
up.
is good.
I'll suck it up.
But apparently this it tastes really good, so I don't know. I gotta try it. That's what I heard. But
It's very bitter. If you like bitter, then yes, but it's a very bitter beer.
okay. Oh, so you tried it. All right. I don't like
Yeah.
bitter beer. It's an acquired taste. I will say
Yeah, it
that.
is. It is. It is.
Anywho, nonetheless, I was like, yeah, I drink some Steve Weisers and shit like that with Austin. Hell yeah, imagine you get that opportunity. But then you have Dwayne, and I was literally had this conversation this week. He's a brand, and I get that. You work that hard to become that. Do you get all the money and all the success? And that's fine. I'm not knocking that. But
Right.
he's not relatable anymore. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate because again, this is the same guy that brought me into wrestling. This is the same guy I idolized and I thought the world of, his character. And it's unfortunate that I sit here and I'm like, I don't care what Dwayne Johnson has to say, And again, this is not a knock.
Did you watch the episode of the Rock show? Young Rock?
Yeah, I watched it. I've watched quite a few episodes. I like it, but it doesn't give me that like,
Yeah.
damn, this is the Rock. This is who. Like, you know how I feel, for example, about Sasha. Like, I think the world, right?
Right.
of her, and that's what I used to think of with The Rock. But now with like Dwayne, it's just like I'm good job, good
I
job,
watched the
Dwayne. You're doing
I
it.
watched I watched the episode with Tiffany Haddish, and then I watched the episode with the dude that used to do the crazy joints. Um, the one that used to, like, you
Um,
remember the dude on the crazy, like,
from
from
Jackass.
Jackass, yeah.
Yeah,
Steve, whatever
yeah,
his
and I
name
watched
is.
so Steve-O. Was it Steve-O
Steve-O,
that
there
was
was
on?
Steve-O. So like he actually shot
I
Steve-O
watched him on
with,
Charlotte. Uh-huh.
he shot Steve-O with like one of those when they shoot into the crowd the t-shirts. Steve-O hasn't done a
Yeah.
trick in so long, but because he's been sober for like 12 years, he's like, for Austin, I'm gonna take one. And Austin shot him. He's like, yeah, this is why I retired. And it's like, it was just so cool just watching that and listening, to people's personal stories when they stay with Steve. It's something about him when he does interviews that he just helps the
He's
interview. Like, it's such great interviews when he does it for some reason.
But you know what? And then when you think about it in hindsight, though, he's so good at it because he's so good at connecting with people. He was the GOAT or one of the GOATs to do it back in wrestling. So it makes sense as to, and his character was relatable, right? Whereas when
Right.
I'm thinking about The Rock's character wasn't relatable, right?
Right.
Because it was flashy, flamboyant, like I'm lavish, I'm better than this. Where Austin is just like your redneck, blue collar, hardworking guy that's like fuck the establishment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want. That's relatable because that's how we all feel essentially when it comes to work, and that has translated to his career of doing podcasts
Broadcasting and media, like just being a
and it
personality
says
altogether.
just being a person, exactly, that's the word. Just being a personality is translated into what he is now. So it makes sense as why he's he's so fucking cool. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
You saying the whole blue collar, red neck, it made me wonder and wish and hope. What if he could do an interview with CM Punk? The two
Punk.
anti-establishments.
Hey, I would love to. I think Punk would be hella down for it. I mean, shit. If he was cool with Jericho, Vince, who knows?
Right.
And I would love, again. I would love him to have an interview. Could you imagine Austin and The Rock just talking about all the shit that they know? That'd
Yeah.
be crazy.
Yeah. One
I
of the
would love
craziest
that.
feuds. Yeah. But yeah, back to
One of
Sasha.
the
Yeah, back to Sasha and Bianca. And this is why, like, I side IW account. But to me, I feel like there's no other main event. I've been. You see my Twitter and my Instagram. I've been like very what's the word?
adamant,
Adamant. Thank you.
adamant.
About
Mm-hmm.
them main eventing night one. They should have main event night 2, in my opinion. Just close out this show. This is history in the making, and they're both money makers. So I don't understand why it's so hard of a decision. Why you don't want to just push it as is.
I think, and I agree. And everyone keeps telling me, when I keep saying, yeah, I'm going there for you already know why I'm going. And everyone keeps saying the same thing to me, that they're just so disappointed in the build for this feud, and I am too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna admit that, like, I am too. Like, especially, I don't know if you finished watching SmackDown
No.
from last
But you
night.
go ahead,
Well,
ruin it. Go ahead, ruin it.
yeah, Bianca had a match with Carmella, which, okay, that's fine. Typically, that's how it is on the road to WrestleMania. There's going to be like tag team matches and random matches, and then an altercation. Sasha came from behind and was about to do the backstabber, obviously bank statement, but Bianca was like, nah, we're gonna do this at Mania. That was it. And it wasn't no pushing or anything like that. It was just,
Very
jarring at
calm.
each other and like, yeah, like, okay, yeah, I see you, sis, that type of thing. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but where's the backstage interview? Where's the altercation? Where's the push and this and that and third? Let me feel like this, you turn Sasha heel mad late, and
What's the
I don't know,
purpose
I'm lost for words. What's the
outside of Royal
purpose? And then
Rumble?
and it's just, it's unfortunate again, and I keep saying this, and this is like, I sound like a broken record with the things that I keep saying over and over. But if I see when Sasha comes out or when the women come out every week, and those on YouTube, the views are sometimes the higher views out of the whole program. Or if I look at the ratings at whole, viewership went up to from let's say 2.2 to 2.4 because Sasha or the women are out. But yet every week, and this is not a knock on Roman, Bryan, or Edge, but every week it's Roman, Bryan, Daniel Bryan, Edge, another couple for however minutes, then a couple of things here and there. Then we get another backstage segment. We might get another backstage segment. Then we get them in the main event, the closing segment, and it's like, okay, we get it. But if you have 2 nights, we need to establish the other main event. You're on Raw, you're making it seem like Drew and Bobby are the main event, the way they had all that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you keep saying historical. Why is this historic? Because you're saying it's 2 Black women, or because it is going to be the main event, and it needs to be the main event. I cannot see how anyone thinks, and then you see the rumbling on our social media with the hashtag. I don't see how anyone can sit here and be like, you know what, Bobby Lashley and fucking Drew McIntyre are the main event. I don't see how you think that. It's unfortunate that WWE has dropped the ball in regards to the feud. Maybe this is me being naive, but I'm thinking that they feel that because of the 2 superstars that they are, it's gonna deliver nonetheless, and the hype will be there regardless.
Right.
But it needs to be the main. It needs to be the main event. It needs to be the main event. We can't. They can't drop the ball in this opportunity for them to. Could you imagine the air that will be let out that night, especially when that's not the strongest card? Night 2, in my opinion, is the strongest card. Imagine you decided to open them up, and then you say all the other matches in between just to wait for the main event of Bobby and Drew.
Yeah. First of all,
You
the Bobby
can't
and
do
Drew,
that.
they dropped the ball, the whole Bobby and Drew thing, because it should never have been Drew. Drew didn't had his moment. Drew had a very long time with the title. It should have been moved on. If you wasn't ready for Lesnar, that was your time to build somebody else. Like, nobody's really here for Drew McIntyre. I haven't seen no positive remarks in terms of Drew McIntyre. Now, I can't remember who said this, whether it was Duke from Duke Wrestling, or Brian Waters, but they was mentioning how the only reason why they could see Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre headlining night 1 is because Peacock has a deal with USA, and they don't want SmackDown main event both nights for Fox. You know what I'm saying? For money reasons alone. But my opinion, like I keep saying, is the money is there. If you care about that, then let Sasha and Bianca main event the other night, and let Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan start off the show. Y'all have done it before with the heavyweight title, right? And then this past week, I think on Busted Open Radio, Mark Henry said, "Oh, let Bianca and Sasha open. It'll be a great. No, if that's the fact, again, then let Bryan, Edge, and Roman open up. Let that be the difference.
I'm tired.
I'm
tired of Mark Henry's opinions.
We're not even gonna touch on him. Like, we done saw Roman Reigns close out Mania. We done saw Edge close out WrestleMania. We done saw Daniel Bryan close out WrestleMania. We don't need to see it again.
Thank you. And let's keep it what it is. You're just telling us, with everything that has been going on since the past year, and we want equality, we want change. Why is it that why does the men have to close out both nights? Like, when people there has been no hashtag for Bobby and Drew, but why would you even think that would be the main event? I'm not gonna listen. I'm fine with Edge Christian. Wow. Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman closing out night 2. I'm fine with that. I think that's a main event. That's in my opinion.
Right.
Drew and Bobby are not it. They are not it. It does not. It's not generating anything for you. Like, you cannot be that stubborn. If I'm looking at ratings and this, like, again, as a business owner, if I see something is producing better than the other one, why would I be stubborn and continue to push the thing that's not going over. That makes
Right.
no sense. And give it is, again, yes, we seen the first woman main event a couple of years ago, but it doesn't have to be one and done.
Right.
This is hit two top black wrestlers. That's money right there. That is money. You
And
know,
and
it's needed. This I'm manifesting. This is what I see. That's the main event. It'd be really unfortunate that they did not have the main event. It'd be really unfortunate. Now, before I not to cut you off, one thing I was talking to another friend about, I'm like, you know what? They may just be main eventing because it was last week when they was mentioning the cards for Saturday, like night one, and then the same thing with night two,
right.
the order that they did it in. And the last match that was mentioned before they went to night two was Sasha and Bianca. I feel like The Rock, because The Rock does this shit. Anyway,
Right.
it was Sasha and Bianca. And then, you know what I mean? And they went
Right.
on to night
Night
two.
two.
So that's my thing. If that's not the main event, why would you get? And then they did the
Yeah.
same thing with Roman and Edge before Daniel Bryan got in there. But
Right.
Roman and Edge was the last card they mentioned for the last match they mentioned for night two. So
In terms of
that
in terms
I'm putting
and then just to
it
close
out
it
there.
out, in terms of money makers, right? You saw how much views generated for Bianca winning the Royal Rumble, how much press it got across all medias
Yes.
known. We already on the other flip side, we already know what Sasha could do in terms of her promoting. Like she's done things with cricket. She's on the Mandalorian, even though you didn't want to promote it yourself. She got that gig herself, and she did very well on that. That got a lot of views for Mandalorian alone,
I mean,
just for her.
Sasha Banks is just Sasha Banks, so that's just it. The
Right,
popularity is there. So
right.
yeah.
So
So
how's what more money do you need to be put behind this? If you would have made this the main event from the moment that it was announced, you know how much press would be following the storyline. But then again, on the flip side, I'm kind of glad they didn't because you just made this whole feud lackluster. So you probably would have made them look bad off your writing.
and the thing is, you have why is it that the Royal Rumble winner
Not main
doesn't get to
eventing.
main event? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, obviously we've
While
seen
the
it
other
over
one
the past
does.
2 years, right? While we see exactly, so it's just I'm tired of the what's the word I'm
Slight,
looking for, but no, it's just
underappreciated.
you, no, that's not the word. It's just I'm tired of the let's just say disrespectful. There's another word I'm looking for when it comes to women. It's 2021. This shouldn't even be a no brainer. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, hell yeah. Two
That's the
black
main
women
event.
main eventing. Let's do it. That's the main. And you know what? And I know at the end of the day, it's whatever Vince says or goes. But I would like to see guys like Drew, Bobby, Roman, this person, hashtag so and so boss versus EST main event, like what we've been seeing. Like you
Right.
saw all the women supporting and wanting to see that. Where's the men? Don't be selfish. You like Drew, you had your moment. Yeah, it wasn't in front of a crowd. Don't be selfish.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
stand up for your counterparts. There's no
And I,
reason why you're still gonna have your moment. Like, no one's saying you can't have your moment and you start off the show, but this needs to be the main event.
well, we see what Drew
We
said
should
about
be,
that whole situation, like the whole hashtag situation. So,
and it's just it's corny.
did you see that comment
And
he's made about earning opportunities?
it's just another situation of a titled brat, and I don't care. I understand his struggle. He went through, but at the end of the day, that skin color, his gender is always going to trump
Yeah.
how he feels about other things. So that he let it be known what the deal is with that. And I can see if that's the case, if that's how it's going to go, I can see them getting booed.
Yo, no, of course. If they main event, it's not gonna be good. And then two, I believe the history is that no black wrestler successfully defended the title at WrestleMania. So the odds are not good for Bobby. Going into this, like between the Hurt Business breaking up and that statistic alone and how much they love Drew and they want him to win in front of a crowd, it's not looking good.
That motherfucker better think real.
They gave him that dope ass entrance just to set him up. Like just to make Drew look better. Like, yo, look what he conquered. This is what it is. Oh, we gonna talk about WrestleMania. We're gonna say that.
We'll talk about. I don't know when. I'm assuming we'll probably discuss it. When do you want to discuss it?
I would drop it on Saturday morning.
No, what? No, I mean for Mania. Like, when do you want to like when we come? Like when I come back? Like.
We'll figure out during the week to drop it some like real close to WrestleMania. Because I know like WrestleMania is probably going to end very late on that Sunday night.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can discuss it then, but whenever. But yeah, it should be. I'm excited still, just because one, I'm going. Two, it's WrestleMania. I know we always have, because this card doesn't like in actuality, like the whole card doesn't look like both nights doesn't look bad, but and some feuds obviously have been very lackluster, but I think we'll be excited once. Because it's WrestleMania.
I don't like the fact that the women only have 2 matches that entire weekend. You have 2 nights.
Well,
did 2 on each night.
But you didn't hear what happened? What they're planning? Apparently, it's supposed to be a quote unquote not a battle royal, but kind of like a, let's say, a fatal 4-way with all the tag teams, and then Saturday or Sunday, exactly. So, but you're right. I mean, it's the same old with WWE. You're gonna get at least 2 women matches. So I don't even think they're doing the Andre the Giant Battle Royal that Friday, but I don't think the women were mentioned. So I don't think the women are going to get there on the card at all, outside of the ones that I mentioned in regards to tag team.
I feel like the tag team situation is going to end up being on the pre-show.
I mean,
let's let the week go. Let's see how they do. They might surprise us. But on that note,
again, positive energy. We're putting it out there.
Good vibes. Good vibes,
son.
Anything else you want to bring up while we're here?
No, that's it. Thank you for listening to our show. Again, please support my GoFundMe for my dogs. The link will be in our description. However, Blue's gonna take care of it, because he's our engineer. He's our producer.
I got you, Sean.
Don't do that. But yeah, please head on over to the GoFundMe. Support the little guys. We all love doggies.
Yeah, definitely support the dogs. And also, if you have a chance, follow me on Twitch. I'm trying to get affiliate mode. Follow the Mixed Tag Show on Twitch. We're trying to get them to 50 as well. Well, us. I said them. Trying to get us on 50 as well. So I'm gonna put all these links in the bio. Click it. Follow us. Do what you need to do. And on that note,
follow us at Blue Magic Grind.
Yeah, that too. And follow at Miss Jenna Baby BAYBE. Follow us at the Mixed Tag Show.
Girls going to WrestleMania.
You're gonna do some I'm not gonna put you on the spot. All right. Point to the sign.
It's a biggie, but yeah.
Tag show.